Guys, this is the hybrid waffle stitch you didn't know you needed, and I'm so excited about it. Ta-da! I created this just for you because a lot of you love the Bella blanket, but you didn't want to do sneezing crochet. So you said, can I do that in regular crochet? At first I said no, and now I say yes. Enjoy. Okay, who's ready to learn this hybrid waffle stitch? I'm very excited about this stitch, and you will need a solid color yarn. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love, which is what I used in the pattern, and this is Mandala Ombre in Tranquil. It is absolutely gorgeous. And honestly, all of the ombre colors are just stunning, so I can't wait to see all the colorways you guys choose to make the Emmy blanket. You need a 5.5 hook for the pattern, but someone lost my 5.5 hook. That would be me, so I have no idea where it is. So we're going to use a 6mm, but for the pattern, please use a 5.5mm hook. So this hybrid waffle stitch, the reason I created it is because so many of you loved the Bella blanket, but you did not want to learn Tunisian crochet. Or you tried it and it was frustrating. So I had a lot of requests for a regular one, and you can't get the same effect with regular crochet for the Bella blanket as with the regular waffle stitch. So I was like, okay, surely there is something I can create that will give the same effect as that. I'm super excited about this. So the stitch is a multiple of 3. So I'm going to do 15 today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if you want to change the width, a multiple of 3, and in the pattern I have all the different sizes and how many rows you need, how many chains, and all that good information. So with the solid color, chain your multiple of 3, and then we are going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. As you can see, count 1, 2, that is the second chain from the hook. So you're going to single crochet in that second chain. A single crochet is insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Super simple. So you're just going to single crochet all the way across, and since we started with 15 chains, we should have 14 stitches. So single crochet in every single one across. And then at the end of this row, we're going to switch colors. I'm really excited about this stitch and just the texture and the look, and you don't have to fasten off the ends when you switch colors and weave in all those ends. You just bring it up the side. Okay, we're at the last chain. So we're going to do a single crochet, insert your hook, and pull up a loop. But before we pull through 2 loops on the hook, we want to introduce our new color. That is the cleanest way that I have found that works for me to change colors. So put that second color on your hook before you finish the single crochet, and then finish the single crochet with that new color. And then the old color, it's just going to hang out here, and we're going to bring it up later. So every 2 rows we will switch colors. So give it a little bit of a tighten your stitches, and then with this new color you are going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so now we've got the mandala ombre on here, and chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to single crochet into that very first stitch, and you're just going to single crochet all the way across until you have 14 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and now we're coming to that last stitch, and 14. There's your first 2 rows. Chain 1 and turn. And then again, we're going to do a single crochet all the way across until we get to the end of the row. So again, you don't count that chain 1 as a stitch, so you're going to single crochet in that first one. So 14 across. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we're coming to that last stitch. And once again, before we finish off that single crochet, we're going to bring up the new color. So we're going to let this one hang down here, and you're going to bring this one up and pull it through the 2 loops on your hook to finish off that last single crochet. And that is your first 2 rows. Okay, so now this is where it gets fun and interesting. So with that yarn A is what we're calling that, chain 1 and turn. In this first single crochet, we're going to single crochet into that first stitch normally, but then in the second one, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to single crochet in the back loop only. So what that means, you see with crochet, the stitches are these little V's when you turn it towards you, got these little V's. This right here, that's the first loop, or that's the front loop, sorry. This is the back loop. We are not, when you normally do crochet, you go under both of those loops. And that's what we did with the first stitch. We went under both of those loops. But for the rest of these, until we get to the last one, we're gonna go in the back loop only. And the reason I did that, I designed the pattern like that, is because when I went in both loops, it was getting to where you could barely see the mandala ombre showing through, and I was like, well, that's not gonna work. We want that beautiful ombre yarn to show through. So going in the back loop, it just shows us more of that stitch, which looks really nice. So in that second stitch, you're going to single crochet in the back loop only. Again, not the front one, the back one. So insert your hook into that back loop and do a single crochet. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We are going to do a front post treble crochet, and that's what's going to give us the bars for the waffle stitch. So as you can see, this is the first. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 rows below to do this front post treble crochet. So this is the first stitch right here, and this is the second one right here. We're going to go under this one. You're going under the white. You're always going under the white, not the ombre. So that's why we're doing a treble crochet, because it's a very long stitch, because we got a long ways to go down there. So we did a single crochet, then a single crochet back loop only, and now we're going to skip this stitch. You're not going to go into that one. You're going to skip that ombre stitch, and we'll go into the next one. This one, we're going to go into it 3 rows below. So for a front post treble crochet, you're going to yarn over your hook twice. Show that again. Wrap it around once, wrap it around again. And then you're going to look for that 1, 2, 3, that third stitch 3 rows below, the white one. You're going to insert your hook behind that stitch. So insert your hook behind that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop behind it. You can kind of pull it up like that. And now we're going to finish the treble crochet. For a treble crochet, you yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And as you can see, that creates a really nice long stitch, and it's also nice and squishy. Got to get that squish, right, for the waffle stitch. So that's the first front post treble crochet. So again, we're skipping that one behind it, and we're going to the next one. and we're going to do a single crochet back loop only in the next two. Single crochet back loop only, single crochet back loop only. All right, so now we're ready to do the next front post double crochet. So this is a little bit easier to see. So you don't go in that one, you don't go in that one, you go in that one. So it's easy to look over and see which one you're going in. So again, wrap it around your hook twice. Look for that stitch 3 rows below, insert your hook behind it, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there's your second treble crochet. So we're basically going to do that until we get to the very end. So we're skipping that chain behind our front post treble crochet, and we're going to the next one, which is a single crochet back loop only. And we're going to do that in the next 2 stitches, and then we're ready to do our next treble crochet. So count 2 over and go to the front post treble crochet into that 1 3 rows below. So once you get the hang of this, it's just a 4-row repeat, and it's super easy. So find that next stitch, single crochet, back loop only in the next 2, count 2 over to that 3rd one to do our front post treble. And now we have 2 stitches left. So in this first one, single crochet, back loop only. And then in this one, we're going to single crochet under both the front and the back loop. Now the reason I designed it like that, where you're going under both loops at the first stitch and the last stitch, is it just gives it more structure. Going into that back loop only, it kind of causes some holes that I didn't really like, and just feel like it gives it more structure for when you're doing your border, and just like the way it looks. So that is the front post treble crochet. All right, so we're at the end, chain 1 and turn. Now for this row, we're just going to loosely, when I say loosely, you'll see why, loosely slip stitch into every stitch across, going under both loops. And for those of you that are new, and maybe those of you that aren't new, you might want to use stitch markers for the slip stitch row. I used them when I was making this pattern, and it just really helped to see where that stitch that we wanted to go in. Because for the next row, we're going to go in the back loop only again, and trying to figure out where that back loop only for a slip stitch is can be a little bit hard. So again, we chained 1 and we're turning with the white yarn. We're going to loosely slip stitch. So to slip stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through the loop on your hook. That is a slip stitch. And what you're going to do with a slip stitch is the same. There's the, got the front loop and the back loop. So this is the back loop whenever we turn it. So this is the loop that we're going to go into on the next row. So you can just put a little stitch marker in that back loop, which right now it looks like it's the front loop, but when we turn it around, it'll be the back loop. So that just kind of helps you know where to go in and where that last stitch is. And so you're just going to slip stitch loosely all the way across, and we're going to do it loosely so that we can get our hook under that back loop, because if you do it real tight, not only will it pull your project in towards the center, it'll be really hard to get your hook into that stitch. So yeah, slip stitch loosely all the way across. And then when we're on the last one, we're going to change back to the mandala yarn. So we're at the last stitch. So you should have 14, for the sample, you should have 14 slip stitches. Okay, so for changing colors on the slip stitch, I do this a little bit differently than changing colors for the other stitches. I finish the slip stitch with this color, and then I bring in the mandala to chain 1. And let me just show you why I do that. If I were to change to the mandala to finish the slip stitch with the mandala, this yarn would just be hanging right there and not hanging off to the side. So we want to complete the slip stitch with this white yarn so that it's hanging off to the side instead of in front of our project, which is just weird. Okay, so now with the new color, we've completed our slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 with the new color. So see, we're just bringing the color up the side, and this is the only side you'll have to do that on. This one will be nice and clean, and we'll cover all these yarn ups with the border, and you won't even know it's there, I promise. All right, so give it a little bit of a tug. You chained 1, and you're going to turn. Again, just leaving that white to hang out there. So for this row, we're going to single crochet back loop only, and we're going to do back loop only the entire way across. We don't need to do it under both loops for this first one because the slip stitch is so tight that it doesn't give that big hole like the other rows would have done. So for the slip stitch, we're doing back loop only on every single stitch. So look for that back loop. And one thing that you can do, if you're new to this and you're like, what the heck? When you complete that slip stitch, you can see that, okay, that's the back loop right there. So you can put your stitch marker in that loop, which right now it looks like it's the front loop to you, but when you turn it, it's the back loop. Go ahead and put that stitch marker there until you kind of get the hang of it on that stitch, and then chain 1 with the mandala. And now when you turn, you can go, oh, okay, that's the back loop that I need to go into. It just helps you make sure that you are going into the right stitches, because nothing is more frustrating than, you've got 4 inches of your project done and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I have skipped stitches and it's like slanting inward, and nobody needs that. So when in doubt, use your stitch markers. Okay, so we chained 1 with the mandala. Now we can move that stitch marker because we can see, okay, I'm supposed to go into that one. So we're going to do a single crochet back loop only all the way across. And because we did it loosely, it's easy to get your hook under that back loop of the slip stitch. If you did it tight, I'm telling you, you will be very frustrated. So I would do it, for me, I crochet really tight. I just naturally do that. So I have to crochet it really loosely. It feels weird sometimes when I'm doing it, but yeah, it's perfect to be able to get my hook under that loop. All right, now we're at the stitch marker. You can take that out because we can see there's that back loop. Slip stitch or single crochet back loop only. And so the reason why we did the slip stitch and did the back loop only is because now we're kind of getting that waffle texture where these are a little bit raised, and that's the slip stitch helped create that. So we've got that squishy looking waffle texture that'll give us those really prominent little windows. Okay, now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And for this row, we're just doing regular single crochet all the way until we get to the last stitch, and then we're going to change back to the white. So single crochet all the way across. And if you've never worked with this mandala ombre yarn, you are in for a treat, and you might possibly become as addicted to it as I am. Okay, there's our last stitch. Insert your hook under both the front and back loop. Grab that mandala and then finish off the single crochet with the white. And don't pull up too tight on these yarn ups because it'll scrunch it up like that. So just do it a little bit loosely, and like I said, we're going to cover all that up. Okay, chain 1 and turn. So for this row, this is the row where we're doing a single crochet under both loops with the first and the last, then back loop only for the rest of them. So in this first one, go under both, single crochet. For the next one, go under the back loop only. And now we're ready for the next front post treble crochet. Okay, so this one is a little bit, so that first row, super easy to see which stitch we're supposed to go into. But from here on out, it's a little bit trickier. So you're actually, there's your slip stitch from the, your slip stitch row. So you're going to go underneath that slip stitch row and look for the leg of that front post treble crochet. And that's where you're going to insert your hook under for the next one. So always go below and look for that part right there. And that's where you're going to insert your hook. So treble crochet again, yarn over twice, look for that stitch below, go under there. So you're not going under there. Don't go underneath the post stitch. That one's just supposed to lay there. You're going to look for the stitch right underneath that slip stitch. And so you kind of see like those 2 bars right there. That's what you're going under. Oh, I got to yarn over twice. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And see, it's giving you that nice waffle stitch texture. Okay, again, you're skipping that one. Find the next one, single crochet, back loop only for the next 2. And then a front post treble in the next one, yarn over twice. Look for those 2 bars underneath that slip stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Single crochet, back loop only for the next 2. Treble crochet underneath that slip stitch right there. Finish your treble. Single crochet, back loop only, the next 2, front post treble, finish the treble crochet, and now we have 2 stitches left. Single crochet, back loop only for that one, single crochet under both loops for that last one. You can kind of see it starting to take shape. And I did try this with the 6mm hook, and the stitches weren't quite as tight, so you can kind of see that white hanging through. When you use the 5.5mm, it won't look like that. Actually, let me go grab the blanket and show you. See, with that 5.5mm hook, the stitches are a little bit tighter. The trebles are tighter, and it just get more of that squishy waffle texture. So highly recommend the 5.5. But like I said, mine has disappeared into, who knows, maybe under my couch. There's no telling. Okay, so let's do the slip stitch row. Chain 1 and turn. And then slip stitch loosely into that first stitch. Mark that back loop with a stitch marker. And then slip stitch loosely into every stitch all the way across. And the one technique that I do to be able to do it loosely is when I pull my loop up, pull it up just a little bit like that, and then go through. So insert your hook, pull it up just a little bit and go through it. It's just kind of become second nature to me, and I forget that that's what I do to make it a little bit looser. All the way across, you should have 14 slip stitches. Now we're at the last one, slip stitch, and if you want, mark that loop with your stitch marker. I'm not even going to close it. Okay, so now we're ready to go back to the mandala. So we finished off that slip stitch with the white. Now we're going to chain one with the mandala and give that a little tug, turn it, and now we know that's the back loop. And so we're just going to single crochet, back loop only, all the way across. So that's the 4-row repeat. Super easy once you get the hang of it. And just single crochet, back loop only, all the way across. And now we're at the last stitch. It's really starting to take shape. All right, I'll go ahead and do a couple more rows, just kind of talking you through it, and then we'll finish a nice square swatch so I can show you the border without me talking, but just you can just watch and crochet along with me if you want to. So we just finished off the single crochet, the back loop only, chain one and turn, and now it's just regular single crochet into every stitch until you get to the end. Oops. So for this pattern, you're repeating rows 3 through 6 for the entire pattern. So I really hope that you you enjoy the stitch as much as I do. I can't wait to do some more experimenting and come up with some other patterns. So we're at that last one, single crochet, and then finish off the single crochet with that new color. And please, if you make your own so chain one and turn, make your own Emmy blankets. No matter if you use the same color as me or you do another colorway, I would love to see them. You can either email them to me at julie@icancrochetthat.com, or you can post them on Facebook or Instagram and then tag us and we will see it. But that's one of the things I love most about this job is getting to see you guys create the designs yourself. So, okay, we're at the first white row. So single crochet under both loops for that one, single crochet back loop only for the second one, and then we're doing the front post treble. And you can see it, that's what we're going to go under. And skipping a stitch, going to the next one, single crochet back loop only, repeat that, front post treble. Single crochet back loop only, twice, and then front post treble. Single crochet back loop only. Now our last front post treble. And then single crochet, we have 2 stitches left, single crochet back loop only, and then single crochet under both loops for that last one. And then chain one and turn, and loosely slip stitch. Loosely slip stitch all the way across. Now you could do this blanket like me with self-striping yarn. You could do it with the mandala ombre, you could do it with the regular mandala. I think there's like mandala impressions. There's all kinds of, there's gradient yarns, but you could also easily do this with just two, solid color yarns, and you could do like blocks of different colors. If you want to, like, you're making a blanket for someone and you want it to match their nursery or their bedroom or whatever. So obviously don't have to use self-striping yarn. Okay, we're at that last stitch. Slip stitch, finish the slip stitch, and then introduce the mandala yarn on the chain one and turn. What do you think? Are you liking it? I hope you're liking it. And I know this edge looks so freaking messy, but I promise you it's okay. We're gonna cover that up, and after the end of this video I will show you the border at the very end. So let's work, let's see, I think I'll do 2 more blocks of the waffle stitch, and then we will move on to the border. Did a couple more blocks, as you can see, and now we're ready to move on to the border. So you will end with a slip stitch row with the white. So that's what I just did. I just completed a slip stitch row with the white, and then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn with the right side of your project facing you, and you can fasten off this blue, or fasten off the mandala, because we're now done with that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Fasten off the mandala, and we'll weave that in later. Keep the white there. And now we're going to do single crochets all the way around the entire project to clean up the edges before we start on the other border part. So again, chain 1 and turn, and this is your first slip stitch. We're going to go under both of those loops and we're going to do 2 single crochets in that first slip stitch, and then single crochet all the way down. So you're just doing 2 in that first one and then 1 in each of the ones across. And then when you get to your last slip stitch, you're going to again do single crochets in the same one. 2 single crochets. So you're starting the row with 2 single crochets in one stitch, regular single crochets, and then 2 single crochets in the last stitch. In doing the 2 single crochets, it gives us a nice rounded edge. So now we're ready to single crochet evenly all the way down this side. So we just did the 2 single crochets, so you're going to want to do a single crochet in every row. So this is our first row. So you're going to do 2 single crochets in that first row. And then this is all about preference, where you put your single crochets. Every crocheter is different. Every crocheter likes a different look. Some put it around each post, some want to go in each loop. It's just, honestly, it's just your preference, what you want to do. So there's that next row, single crochet, next row, single crochet, and you're just single crocheting evenly all the way down. So when you get to the ends, again, do the 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet on the corners, and then I'll meet you back here so I can show you how to cover up these yarn ups. Now I'm to the edge with the yarn ups, and you're just going to do exactly what you did on the other edge. So I just did 2 single crochets in that last stitch, and now I'm doing 2 single crochet in the first one. And then we're just going to single crochet evenly down, making sure that you're covering up these yarn ups with your single crochet. And then you won't even be able to tell that they're there. So see, you just do that all the way across, covering those up. And this border looks a little bit looser than the actual blanket because I'm using the 6mm hook. But if I were using the 5.5, it wouldn't be quite this loose and wavy. And actually, I probably should have gone down to like a 5mm hook for the border. Sometimes that helps. If you're doing your border with the 5.5 and you're like, this is just wavy and loose and I don't like it, move down like half a hook size. So I'd say try like the 5mm hook to do your border and see if that kind of tightens up the edges. A lot of crochet is just your personal preference. Do what works for you. All right, we're at that last row, and I'll do 2 single crochets in that last one, and then find the single crochet, the first single crochet you did along the edge, and we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. And now we're ready to do the ribbed border, I guess you could call it. So chain 2, and then in that stitch that you just slip stitched into, you're going to do 4 double crochets in that same stitch. This chain 2, that does not count as a stitch. We're not going to go into that. That doesn't even count. Pretend it's like it's not there. So that stitch you just slip stitched in, do 4 double crochets into that stitch. Double crochet is yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do that 4 times in that same stitch. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet in each single crochet until we get to this corner stitch right here. Double crochet all the way down. And there are so many different borders that you could do with this blanket. You don't have to do the same border I did. If you don't like it, find another one. You could just leave it with a single crochet. You could do like another single crochet border around it. You could do a peacock border. You could do a shell border. Whatever you want. I just like this one because I don't know why. You'll see this one on several of my blankets. I just love it. All right, we're to that corner single crochet, and we're going to do 7 single crochet or 7 double crochets into 1 stitch. So looking at this, you're like, well, is that the corner? Is that the corner? I mean, let's see. It doesn't really matter. Either one of those, you can go in, do your 7 double crochets in, it'll look good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And see how we're getting that, gives that nice rounded edge. Okay, so we just did our 7 double crochets in that corner, double crochet all the way here. When you get to this corner, 7 double crochets in that corner, double crochet here, 7 double crochets in that corner, and then I'll meet you when we get back here and we'll do the next row, which is learning now you're going to learn the back post double crochet. We're going to do front post double crochet and back post double crochet. So we're coming to the very last stitch on the edge. If you'll remember, we started with 4 double crochets in the same stitch. And now we're going to do 3 double crochets in this last stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch it together. So in the very last stitch, do 3 double crochets. And then again, we're ignoring that chain 2, find that first double crochet and slip stitch into that. And that's your first round of double crochets. Now we're ready to do front post and back post. So again, chain 2. Look for this first double crochet, and we're going to do a front post double crochet. So go from right to left, the back of that post, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then finish your double crochet. Find that next double crochet, yarn over, go from back around to the front. Let me do that one more time. So this is a back post double crochet. Yarn over, go from back around that double crochet to the back, yarn over, pull up a loop, finish your double crochet. The next one, front post. Behind it, double crochet. The next one, back post, which is bringing your hook from the back around to the front and back to the back and pulling up a loop. So let me do this a little bit closer to the camera for this one. Okay, this is the front one. Insert your hook behind from right to left, bring up a loop, finish your double crochet. This next one, go from back over, back to the back, pull, oops, yarn over, pull up a loop, and finish your double crochet. And see, you're getting the really cool little ribbed effect here. And so for the rest of it, we alternate between front post and back post all the way across until we get to this first one, and we're going to slip stitch to that. So let's do a few more where I'm not talking, where you're just watching, and then I'll go off camera and finish the rest of this. All right, I've gone all the way around, and now we're to that last one, and all you gotta do for that last one is just slip stitch into it, fasten it off, weave in your ends, and you have finished the Emmy blanket. What do you think? It's funny because this is like actually the size of a waffle. So much fun. Oh my gosh. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this pattern, and if you try it, what you think about it. I would love to know, would love to hear. And like I said, please, please, please tag me on Instagram, Facebook, send me an email with your pictures of your projects, because I love to put them in my emails and also on socials to encourage others that you can do this. So there you go. Enjoy making your Emmy blanket.